This podcast is brought to you by the Maryland State Library Agency. The MSLA podcast features presenters from statewide youth programs, as well as learning opportunities for library staff and resources for patrons of the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Technology User Group at the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled, where today we are talking about the advanced features of the Victor Reader Stream. My name is Jerry, and I will be guiding you through this maze of the Victor Reader Stream 3. And I really shouldn't say maze, because the Victor Reader Stream 3 is an incredibly easy device to use. So it also has a certain enjoyability level that I think other devices don't necessarily have. So just throwing that out there. I'm pre-recording today's session because when you're doing live demonstrations, what could possibly go wrong except everything? So I use a program called Total Recorder for my recordings. Total Recorder is not a free program, but at the same time, it's not an expensive program either. So if you ever think about doing podcasts or just kind of doing recordings in general, it's nice to have a good microphone, which I have a Snowball microphone, and the Total Recorder program. So very easy to use, and there's definitely some instruction. At one time, way back in the day, like I'm getting to do these old geezer kind of things. Back in the day, we had done a presentation on total recording for the Total Recorder for the Technology User Group, but it was quite a long time ago, and the program's still around. But I know you didn't come to hear that, but at the same time, today's a very special day. It's May, which means the Technology User Group has a birthday. And we actually have a happy birthday number 19. So let's listen to this. Thanks to Courtney for this song. Happy birthday, Tug.
19 years of voices rising, learning side by side. From screen readers to smart canes, it's been one incredible ride. In a room where questions flourish and no one's left behind, we built a place for tech and trust, a home for every mind. Oh, TUG keeps rolling on, 19 years strong, sharing tools, sharing stories, where everyone belongs. From the Maryland Library's heart, we lift each other high. Here's to 19 years of TUG and the future, reaching skies. We've welcomed every gadget, every update, every change, from talking phones to AI guides that once felt out of range. Each month we gather proudly, exploring what's brand new, because learning grows much brighter when the journey's shared with you. Oh, TUG keeps rolling on, 19 years strong, sharing tools, sharing stories, where everyone belongs. From the Maryland Library's heart, we lift each other high. Here's to 19 years of TUG and the future, reaching skies. So here's to all the leaders, the teachers and the friends, to the laughter in our meetings and the help that never ends. We celebrate the milestones and all that's still to come. For 19 years we've lit the way, and we've only just begun. Oh, TUG keeps rolling on, reaching skies.
Some of today's presentation is going to be recorded, the actual step-by-step, and others are going to be a description, because there are times when I don't believe you want to hear me keying in information cold turkey, because it takes time. But I will do a very good job of describing the steps to you. One of the steps I definitely want to describe to you is that the TUG recordings are available not only on the LBPD website, but they're also available as a podcast form. And now that you have your trusty Victor Reader Stream 3, you can go to podcasts, enable it, and then you can search for podcasts. And you want to search for the Maryland State Library Agency. So once you find the Maryland State Library Agency podcast, subscribe to it, and each month you will get the Technology User Group, as well as other programs that are presented by the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled in Baltimore. So I hope that you will take the time and become a subscriber. And also, one of the cool things about it is that once you have the podcast, you can pause the recording and try doing these things that I talk about in real time. So that's a good thing, right? So one of the things that I'm going to talk about that's not really what I would call something new per se is this idea of creating folders for notes. Now, you've been able to give a custom label to your notes for some time. And if you're unaware of that, or giving your individual notes a custom label, just go to the notes, which is on the non-Wi-Fi side, and find your notes. It usually calls them generic notes now with the Victor Reader Stream 3. And you can just go ahead and record a note if you want to. And when you're done recording the note, you can press the 3 key until it says custom label. You can hit pound on that and start typing out an individual label like Sarah's phone number or, medical appointments or something like that. And that kind of goes hand in hand with what I want to say about creating folders. Because we can create folders to put these notes in. I've seen people with hundreds of notes, all in a linear row. And if you're looking for something really quickly, it's going to take you some time, especially if you don't have the custom label on your note either. If it just says note 1, note 2, note 3, that's going to be a bit cumbersome. So it's good to create some folders that have well-defined names, mainly, for example, a folder title phone numbers, or folder titled addresses, or a folder entitled Technology User Group Meetings, right? So how do you go about, I want to make sure my Victor Reader doesn't fall asleep, as you all are. Only it's not allowed to. I can't control everyone else, but, folders. So good to have a good custom name for the folder, and the notes and creating folders are all done on the non-Wi-Fi side. And that's what I like to refer to it as. And that's the side that has notes. Other books, it will have your saved podcast should you move them over to your SD card. This is where Audible is going to be. We'll talk about that in just a moment or two. So on the non-Wi-Fi side, you go to notes by pressing 1, of course, on your move through the bookshelf options, unless of course you have your bookshelf set up in a different way, which we'll talk about here at the very end. To create a folder for notes, go to notes on the bookshelf, press the 6 key, it should say create category. Press pound to say, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to create a category. Type a name and press pound. And this is where you type phone numbers, TUG meetings, whatever other groups you may be associated with. So you may want to have a special category for those. If you're in a class, you may want to give the class name where you're recording the note. To do another category, because, once we start giving categories and creating folders, we probably just don't want to do one of them. We want to kind of go ahead and let's just get this out of the way and let's just do a bunch of them. So to do another category, you press the 6 key and repeat the steps. As I mentioned before, each note itself can also have a custom label. So you go, let's say, to note number 1. You find it. Maybe you press the play button to see what it is first, because there's nothing like trying to randomly assign notes that you don't know what you're giving it a name to. That probably wouldn't be a good idea. You press the 3 key until you hear custom note name, and you press the pound. Now give that note a name. And to move your notes into your newly created folders, you do the following. You find the note you wish to move to a folder. You press the 3 key until you hear it say move note, or it just says move. It doesn't say note. It says move. Press the 6 key until it says, well, let's not jump ahead of ourselves here. So you hear it say, you find a custom note, and you press the 3 until it says move. And of course, you have to press the pound key, because otherwise it doesn't know that that's the choice that you want to make. So once you press the pound key and confirm that, yes, I want to move this note, you press the 6 key until it says the folder name that you want to move it to. Because once you create a bunch of folders, there's going to be a bunch of different categories there. So obviously you press the pound key, and there you go. You now have moved your notes into that custom folder, and then you just keep repeating the steps. So it's a pretty easy process. Something that really everyone should do, because you never know. Unless you're like me and you don't really record all that many notes, then it's not a big deal. Moving on. What is a big deal? Sometimes, BARD is the Braille and Audio reading download service that's provided by the National Library Service for the Blind. If for some reason that you're not listening to this and you're not a member of your state's National Library Service library, I hope that you will take the time to register and do that, because BARD is a pretty unique service, giving us audiobooks and Braille material that we can actually keep on our device forever if we wanted to. Don't have to worry about it disappearing after 3 weeks like you would with your local library, those of us that have used the Libby service. So BARD is pretty neat. Obviously, in years past with the older devices, you could still play Braille material on your Victor Reader Stream by moving it into your dollar text folder on the SD card, and it would play Braille material, BRF file. I should point out that a lot of these advanced features that we talk about today, you kind of have to have a computer or access to a computer to set some of these things up. But I want to go into this NLS BARD. So the NLS BARD, if you want to read Braille material, you can set that up on your Victor Reader Stream so that it will download from BARD. So you can actually have access to the audio and the Braille. And this time we want to go on the Wi-Fi side where NLS BARD is. So I'm just going to hit my round button once.
Offline bookshelf. Saved podcasts.
So this is the offline, so we don't want that.
Online bookshelf. NLS
We
BARD.
want the online
For
bookshelf.
books.
And we are
Search
on
for
sitting on
books.
BARD. Now, if it's not sitting on BARD, of course, you would hit your 1 key until you cycle back around to where NLS BARD is. So to get access to the Braille material on the NLS BARD side here, we would just press the 7 key, and this one I will actually do.
Menu. Book types to search. Audio.
Now it will say,
Remove service. Book types to search.
let me
Remove
move this
service
over
and
here.
import
I should have,
configuration.
yeah, it will say import configuration should usually be what it's going to say first. See, I was playing around with, I actually turned off the Braille before I did this demonstration, and now it was just sitting there, and that's not right. So the, import. So you press the 7, import the first thing you're going to hear, then you're going to press the 6 key.
Modify login information.
This is in case you you're going to change your password and do other things to your BARD login.
Book types to search. Audio books only.
By default, audiobooks only is your choice. But if you hit the 6 key again,
Remove service and all associated book types to search.
okay.
Audio books
I
only.
guess we hit the pound key first. So I hit pound on this.
Audio books only.
Now I hit 6.
Braille books only. Audio and Braille.
And then we have audio and Braille. I don't think you have to hit the pound key on it per se, but I'm going to hit it.
Selected. Book types to search. Audio and Braille.
I guess you did have to press the pound key on it. So now I should be able to play Braille books on this device, and I can actually download them to the NLS BARD bookshelf option. I don't have to go to a computer and transfer it over into the text folder anymore. So I will say that, so I have a book on my wish list that's in Braille. Let me see if I can pull that up here real quick.
General settings.
And if I can't, then we will not worry about it. So
Leaving menu. NLS BARD. For books.
I want to
Search for books.
Search for books.
Search collection.
I want to go to my wish list.
Wish list.
Now I know I added stuff to my wish list.
Error. Wish
No.
list.
Why is there an error?
Error. Wish
And
list.
see, this is what I'm talking about, right? What could possibly go wrong? So I'm going to turn this off for a second.
Suspending.
And I have the quicker shutdown option on here, which we won't talk about today, but if you played around with your options that are in the NLS
Welcome.
device, I'm in the NLS device, listen to me, in the Victor Reader device,
NLS BARD.
you know that shutdown is one of your categories that you can play around with in the general settings folder, I believe. So now I have to wait for Wi-Fi to connect, so that's what I'm waiting for. Otherwise, I can't download a book from my wish list without that.
Wi-Fi connected.
There we go.
Menu. Book
Press
types
the
to
7.
search. Audio and Braille.
We don't want that.
Wish list.
So we're still sitting on wish list. Oh, that's pretty nice. I mean, it just sits wherever you left it off. So I'm going to hit pound.
Error. Wish list.
Okay. And then that's when you come to the realization that even though we're pre-recording, we have an issue, right? And I don't know why my BARD account is acting
Suspending.
the way it is, because I have obviously been tinkering around with it. And so I'm going to go over here to the backup device that I have for such an emergency. And it doesn't have the short turn on option turned on.
Victor Reader.
As you can hear, I've changed the voices on these devices, so it's
Text
not
files. 3.
not exactly the
Files.
default voice on here.
2. PG35-images.html
All
SD
right.
card.
Let's see here. I know you're saying to yourself, this is why.
Online bookshelf. Podcast. 17.
Let's go here.
Bookshare. 1 book.
As I cycle around on the one category here.
Internet radio. 1 play. References. 0 files. Endless Bard. 2 books.
Well, this will be good,
The
right?
Surrogate Mother by Frida McFadden.
Menu. Import configuration.
I've got to make sure it's
Modify login information.
going to
Import
play
config-
my...
book types to search. Audio books only. Audio books only. Braille books only. Audio and Braille. Selected. Book
All
types to search. Audio and Braille. Leaving menu. Endless Bard. Wi-Fi connected. 2 books. Search for books.
Go
Search
search.
collection. Wish list.
Go to wish list.
100. Results found. 1. The Forgetting. Beckerman. 2. Midnight Somewhere. 3. Down Cemetery Road. 4. Alfred Hitchcock's Mystery Magazine.
So the
January
Alfred Hitchcock Mystery
2026.
Magazine is a
Braille.
magazine that's available in Braille only.
Queued for download. 1.
And
The Forgetting. Beckerman. Hannah. Audio.
through the magic of pre-recording, we will take a break and we'll see what happened. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to cycle back around to 1. Let's see if it's
NFB
finished
Newsline.
downloading.
Bookshare. 1. References. 0. Endless Bard. 3 books.
So I have 3
2.
books.
The Anti-Ableist.
1. Alfred Hitchcock's Mystery Magazine. January 2026.
So if you just press play where it says the name of this Braille title, chances are it's going to give you an empty content message. And it still might, even after I press pound. But pound seems to help identify it as something that we were going to select. And I'm going to press play.
Please wait.
It takes a while for it to load.
Alfred Hitchcock's Mystery Magazine registered trademark.
As I say that,
January
it's actually going to
February
read it. Isn't that kind of
2026,
nice?
volume
So-
71 knows. 1 and 2.
Now, sometimes it can be a little choppy
Part 108
as far as the
parts,
reading
pages
goes.
I6 and
It's not going to be real
1-58.
nice and smooth like it is for
Linda
audio.
Landrigan editor. Penny
But this is kind of
Publications,
cool because
LLC,
you can
6
actually, I'm
Pruitt
going to press
Street,
play here.
Norwalk.
Just stop it. Play stop. So you can actually play Braille material from your NLS bookshelf. So that is great. Now, if you have Braille material that you want to play, again, you can always put it in your text folder and play it from there as well. So that text folder is very important. And for playing different types of text material. The other thing about, like I said, it can be a little clunky sometimes, and sometimes when you stop and then you want to go back into it again, chances are you may have to restart the machine. So just be prepared for that. It's not as easy to use as you might think. And we're getting into the more well, some people might find complicated. But and that is playing Audible books. So it's not it's not challenging. The thing that you have to keep in mind, you have to kind of do this in steps, and not to get too frustrated if the steps are giving you a little bit of a hard time. So playing Audible books on the Victor Reader Stream 3, you can. Now, you actually have to transfer the books from a computer over to the Victor Reader Stream 3. You just can't enable the Audible account, log in, and have access to your library. It doesn't work that way. So if that's what you're expecting with the Audible app, well, I'm sorry to disappoint. That's just not going to happen. So you need to create an Audible folder on your Victor Reader Stream 3. You need to enable the machine to play this kind of material. So you got to make sure the Victor Reader Stream software, first of all, is up to date, because you never know when they're going to add things to it. And of course, that is one of your options, which you should already be familiar with. Plus, a lot of people, by default, the Victor Reader Stream is set to update automatically anyway. So you should have any updates that you may need. You also must be an Audible member already. Audible is a service through Amazon. If you are not an Audible member, or if you're not an Amazon member, you have to set up both accounts. Well, you can still use your Amazon login for Audible, but you have to be a member. So that costs money, really. There are free Audible books, but you need to have at least one book in your Audible account. So as I said, access to a PC is necessary for putting Audible material on your Victor Reader Stream 3. You're also going to use a program called Audible Sync that needs to be downloaded to your computer and installed. The easiest way I've found to do this, if you don't Google it, and just go to it directly, you can go to help.audible.com. Click on the MP3 option, and under MP3, it's going to give you the link to download Audible Sync. And when I say Audible Sync, I'm saying AUDIBLE space SYNC, Audible Sync. You're going to download the software to your computer. Of course, where do the files go to when they download, right? They go, unless you've messed around with your computer a great deal, it goes to your download folder. So you will go to your download folder and press enter on the Audible Sync file. It will automatically run and start the installation process. It will ask you to log in with your Amazon credentials. So once you're all logged in, now is the time that you connect your Victor Reader Stream 3 to your computer using the power cable. The power cable comes in handy for everything. You can turn the device on at this point once it is connected. You go to Audible Sync. Once Audible Sync loads, and it can load very slowly. So once your Audible Sync program loads, one of your choices will be #/device. And that's what you want to hit enter on. You're going to choose to authorize a device. You will then be asked to, once again, enter your Amazon credentials. It needs to be logged in on both devices, your stream, basically, and your computer. So once your device is accepted, you do not have to connect the stream to your PC anymore, because all you really need is the SD card. So if you have an SD card slot in your computer, which most laptops have, or if you have an SD card reader, you can then just take the SD card out of the Victor Reader Stream and connect it to the computer. You can go to your Audible account online and go to the library. One of your choices when you're in the library is that you can actually play the books on your computer and listen to them there. Or you can download the title to your computer. And once you download them to the computer, you can then just go into your download folder, scoop them up by doing a Control X to cut them, because they won't play on your computer in that particular file format. So if you want to play them on your computer, you have to do it from the website. Does that make sense? Again, I'll take questions at the end. So if any of this is confusing, I will take questions. Don't worry, we will get to them. Just try to keep them in your mind, and you say, well, what you were talking about really didn't make a lot of sense to me. How do I do this? So again, we're in the process of moving stuff over to your SD card. You just want to go into your download folder. You want to cut them from your download folder and paste them into the $DR $ or the $VR Audible folder that's now on your SD card. Of course, you got to make sure that folder is open. So, you can't paste anything into a closed folder. So, of course, you're going to hit enter on that Audible folder to open it. You're going to paste the books in there. That's a whole lot faster than trying to use the Audible sync service to move them into your SD card. And you can mass cut and paste all at once, which is great. It really speeds up the process. So if you buy a bunch of books and you want them on your Victor Reader stream, this is the process that you're going to use for Audible. That's heavy material that we just covered. Now you know why people aren't rushing. Well, sometimes they take your time to add Audible to their service, because it is a little bit of a cumbersome process. You need a PC, or you need a PC that has the Audible Sync app on it. So that's another reason why people aren't exactly rushing out to necessarily do this, because you got to have a PC. Which gets us into this notion of playing EPUB books. We've talked about EPUB in the past. If you go to the LBPD website where the TUG archives are, you can find a session on reading EPUB books. And you can play them on your Victor Reader Stream 3. The actual website for the Maryland State Library Agency is L, B as in boy, P as in Paul, D as in David, .maryland spelled out .gov. You click on the technology user group link, and down below, near the bottom of the page, you'll see all the TUG archives, and you can go through there and find actual sessions on reading EPUB books. But they're one of the most popular formats for reading ebooks today, and of course you need the unprotected kind. We sometimes get spoiled by the ease of playing books from the National Library Service or Bookshare, because these are so easy for us to download and use. Obviously, you can see the Audible is a little bit more challenging. EPUB is not challenging, but you have to be able to open, like I said, they have to be unprotected. And the EPUB books will require a little preparation. So the first thing you got to do is, where can I find EPUB books anyway? Well, one is Project Gutenberg. All the classics are there, and also a lot of classic authors are there. And you can go there by going to Gutenberg.org. That's GUT as in Thomas, ENBERG.org. Another place to go is the Baen Books Free EPUB Library. Baen is B as in boy, A, E, N, like in November. The focus is mainly on science fiction, so you can find a lot of science fiction books here. And the category is a little long. Just go to www.baen-period.com/categories/free-library.html. Also, Planet ebook is out there, has a large public domain collection based in Australia. You can just go to planetebooks.com/ebooks, and there you have resources where you can go to get your ebooks. A lot of material out there. Once the books are downloaded, and you'll find that a lot of them are in many different formats, and you don't even have to choose EPUB if you don't want to, because you can just choose text if you want, or a Word document, or HTML, so you can do navigating through the book a little bit easier. So just know that it does come in lots of different formats. And of course, they can usually come as a zip file, which you will have to unzip. I personally find this 7-zip utility particularly useful. So if you don't have 7-zip on your Windows computer, you can certainly find it. A good place to go find it is the nonite.com website, which is the NIN. Let me make sure I spell this right. So let me go here real quick. And through the modern technology, and I want to make sure 7-zip is also included in these programs that are on the Nonite website. And it is. So it's Nonite, N as in Nancy, N as in Nancy, ITE.com. And they have lots of different utility programs for free on here. And you just check the box and you just download it to your computer and, of course, go through the installation process. So I like it because you can use that utility to unzip these books. You can also go to www.7-zip.org. That's the number 7 with a hyphen, and then zip.org. Once the EPUB books are open, they can be transferred to the SD card in your Victor Reader stream, and you want to place them as you would any kind of text into your text folder, which makes sense, right? So that is the whole idea of EPUB books, and of course your text folder is very important when it comes to BRF, as we mentioned earlier. It's also important to play other documents that you may have, and you want to keep a copy of it on your Victor Reader stream, be able to listen to it, and enjoy. See, we're just covering all kinds of little things today, not only with the Victor Reader stream, but with the computer in general. So you're getting all kinds of little insights here. So one of the other really cool things is TuneIn, because on
Sleep 15 minutes.
Let me turn this one off. Because
Shutting down.
the older models of the Victor Reader stream, as you know, would play TuneIn material, and playing TuneIn material can be kind of aggravating sometimes because they like to play a couple of different commercials before the actual station begins to stream. And that can be a real annoyance sometimes, right? So with the Victor Reader Stream 3, they decided to make TuneIn a separate category. And of course, TuneIn is played on the Wi-Fi side of your Victor Reader stream.
NLS Bard.
All right.
Books. 1.
A century of great suspense edited.
So one of the things that you can do with your TuneIn account is they do have a service. Some people call it TuneIn Live. Some people call it TuneIn Premium. I believe TuneIn calls it Premium.
Podcast 45.
And what's
Podcast
unique about
Bookshare 0 books.
TuneIn First of all, it was just recently acquired by SiriusXM, so there may be some changes coming to TuneIn sometime in the near future, which will be good because at one time TuneIn used to be one of the premier streaming services to have because it carried all the sporting events and a lot of commercial-free stations and things like that. And it still has commercial-free stations, but not quite as robust as it once was. I guess the long and short of it is that you can actually pair your TuneIn account to your Victor Reader stream, which means if you already have a TuneIn library somewhere and you have a website and login information, you can log into your TuneIn account on the computer and be able to have those stations readily available on your TuneIn app on your Victor Reader Stream 3. What it also means is that you can actually subscribe to TuneIn Premium and have it carry over to the Victor Reader Stream 3 as well, which means that you don't have to sit through the 2-minute commercial that you're going to have to endure if you don't have a premium account. And like I said, that can be incredibly annoying if you're going from one TuneIn station to another. So great to be able to have the TuneIn premium service paired. And we are going to look in depth at TuneIn. So let's talk about the TuneIn process. So you want to make sure that of course, that your Victor Reader is connected to Wi-Fi. You want to navigate to TuneIn on the bookshelf. On the computer, because you're going to have to do things on the computer also, you're going to have to, I want to make sure I get this place correct, this website. You're going to go to a specific website, and that website is tunein.com/pair. So that's TUNEIN.com/pair. So you will go into TuneIn and on the bookshelf. And you will go to the settings key, which is number 7. And you will select Add Account to generate a 6-character code. You want to enter this code on the tunein.com/pair page on your phone or on your computer to link it to the account. So you don't have to have a computer to link your TuneIn account. So one of the things that with the 6-digit codes, it may take you a couple tries. You may want another code because sometimes some of the codes have letters, but they don't exactly sound. You know, if it gave you a code and it said 12345F, that would be fine. But a lot of times it's like 2E3 and unless you're really a great linguist, I'm not exactly sure how to spell oof. And I'm not really sure whether it's, what letters I'm supposed to enter for oof. So you may have to get a couple of them until you get one that actually has more numbers than letters or is all numbers. So just know that you can regenerate and be able to do premium on your Victor Reader stream. And you're like, why would I really want to do premium? Well, premium will give you not access to much anymore when it comes to sports, because basically all you get is hockey and some college sports. At one time it had them all, but it does have audiobooks on here that you can have access to. It does have the commercial-free premium stations. And we'll just take a quick look at TuneIn. I'm probably already on it, but
TuneIn Radio.
there it is.
Search TuneIn stations.
So the first option is search. I'm going to hit the 6 key.
Search TuneIn podcasts.
Podcast, you got access to that anyway. I mean, so this is not really, so far, not really a big deal, right?
Browse.
You can browse.
Search TuneIn stations.
So I'm going to go back to browse. I'm going to hit the pound key.
Home.
And I'm going to skip home for the moment.
Browse library.
Library is just where your saved radio stations are, and you save it the same way you would with for when you're doing the other radio services by hitting the diamond-shaped key above the 3 and then confirming with the pound key.
Local radio.
So here's what I want to show you. One of the really cool things is local radio. So I'm going to hit the pound key on this.
FM.
And we're going to do FM because, being in Columbia, you have access to Washington and Baltimore stations.
41. Results found.
So there's 41 FM stations here.
Jazz.
Now these will play even if you don't have a premium account. But again, if you don't have a premium account, you're going to get those 2 minutes of commercials before it starts playing. So I'm just going to press play here.
Welcome to the WEAA web stream. We hope you enjoy our programs. If it is time to part with your car, truck, boat, or real estate, consider donating it to WEAA. The support tab on the WEAA.org website has the details. Also, if you have been trying to get your hands on WEAA swag, the WEAA
So if I want to go ahead and hit the
store is
6
now
key,
open.
go to the next station. And the next one.
Support for WYPR comes from...
And the next one. So we're going from the bottom of the radio dial further up. And you can see no commercials, and you're just flipping through here, and
Please wait.
Labor Radio Podcast.
I'm going to turn this,
only for Thursday.
hit the play stop, and then I'm just going to hit the 6 key so you can hear what stations are actually skipping through here.
89.7 pot 9. 89.7 HD2.
Yeah, you get all the
Volt 10,
HD2 stations for the ones that they
90.1
have.
C-SPAN radio 11. 90.5 pipe 90.5 WKHS.
And of course, you can do the FM as well, AM as well. It does not have the entire band of FM and AM stations. So if they're not TuneIn oriented, certain stations may not be in the mix here, so to speak. So, for example, in this area, Wash FM, WASH is not on the list, or not 104.3 in Baltimore, not on the list. So certain stations are not in this TuneIn offering. But what I like about it is that you can just fix your way through it and be moving through the dial, and you get not only the main stations, but you get the HD channels as well. For those of you that are curious, let me see here. Is 98
15,
Rock on here?
92.3.
Let's get up here.
23. 96.3 H. 27. 98.5 pipe
Past
26.
it.
97.9 pipe 98 rock.
But I said,
25. 96.7 26.
but it does not have the HD2. Let's see if we go to AM.
FM.
Will it be? Will BAL have their HD
22.
stations on here?
Results found. 8. 1010 pipe new stock 1010 Wolbam talk 7. 9. 1050 pipe Lamera clap 10. 1090 pipe ball news radio news and 11.
Yeah.
1160 pipe met FM Catholic talk.
So they do not have the HD channel for BAL, which is kind of funny. HD2 is WIYY for WBAL, but they don't have it. But anyway, I digress. So let's look out and see what else is on here.
TuneIn radio. Browse.
Go back to browse.
Search TuneIn stations. Browse.
Go back to browse. Hit pound on it.
Browse library. Local radio. Trending. Music.
Trending, music.
News and talk. Sports. By region. Language. Podcasts. Home.
I'm going to go back here to sports real quick. I'm going to press pound on that.
Non-stop sports talk. Explore by sport events.
One of your options under that is events, and I press pound on that.
Results found. 1. Texas Rangers at New York Yankees. Local in market only.
So it says this for the
2.
baseball games.
Minnesota Twins at Wash 3. Cleveland Guardians
And some
4.
of them
Cincinnati Reds
will let you listen to them, and some of them won't. But what I wanted to show was just how neat they arrange things by events.
Search TuneIn podcasts. Browse.
And real quickly, let's go to home. I believe home is where the books are. I press pound on home.
Recent. What do you want to listen to?
And one of your choices is, what do you want to listen to? So I'm going to press pound on that.
Music. News and talk. Sports. Podcasts. Local. Audiobooks.
And audiobooks are here. Let's press pound on that.
Your recent audiobooks.
I'm going to press 6 and go through these.
The Audio Awards 2026 May new releases. Featured. Health and recommended first listens. Bestsellers and award winners. Mystery.
There's not many under each
True
category.
crime. Thriller.
Just to let you know. So if I go to the thriller section and hit pound.
25. Results
25
found.
books.
1. The Nurse.
And this was the one I was listening to. And
Boldwood presents The Nurse, written by Valerie Keogh.
so you can mark these audiobooks as favorites, but they always go back to the beginning. So you're going to have to remember where you left off. But it is kind of neat that you have these audiobooks as one of your options for TuneIn. And definitely will be happy to field more questions on TuneIn app. It's $80 a year for TuneIn Premium. So I really hope that SiriusXM does do something with TuneIn, because right now in its current form, I'm not exactly sure it's worth $80 a year. I did say I would take questions after the pre-recording, so there's just a couple more things I really want to go over before I get into that. I always like to mention the random feature that you have in the music folder. By pressing 9, one of your choices is to randomly play your music, and it only works on the music folder. So if you have material that you want to listen to in a randomized fashion, you can press the 9 and you can play the whole music folder, or you can designate it to just a single folder if you want to. You can put your bookshelf in a list form by going into the general settings. General settings have some unique options under there. So one of them is changing your bookshelf layout so that you don't have to press the 1 key to go from option to option. You can press the 4 and 6 key to move through them if you want to. I kind of don't like that. Some of the other options that are under general is the idle time. How quickly is it going to shut off? You can remove options in the bookshelf that you don't use under the general settings. And then you also have some settings that are what I call long press settings. You know that long pressing the 1, holding down the 1 key, is going to put you in the user guide. If you hold down the 5, it's going to give you a shortcut to the serial number. If you long press the 9, it's going to show you the Bluetooth devices that your Victor Reader Stream 3 is connected to, if it's connected to any at all. Because it may not be connected to any of them. if you long press the 7, it will go through the voices if you have multiple voices on your device. So those are just kind of the main. I said for the presentation that they were advanced features, but you could just easily call them just features of the new Victor Reader Stream 3, and they're adding new features all the time. And I know from listening to the Double Tap podcast presented by Sean and Steve that SiriusXM is one of the services that HumanAware is interested in adding to the Victor Reader Stream 3. So if they're able to do that, that would be pretty awesome for stream users. The other readers, MP3 players, if you will, have that access already, just as an aside. But I will take questions. If you have questions about the Victor Reader Stream 3, next month we'll do something fun. As we always do for summertime, we will talk about iOS games, in particular, the newest ones. So we're not going to focus on those that have been around forever. We're going to focus on the newest iOS games and tell you if it's worth the effort or not.
This has been a presentation of the Maryland State Library Agency. For links to additional resources provided by today's presenter, please visit the show notes. For more information on MSLA or the Maryland State Library for the Blind and Print Disabled, visit marylandlibraries.org.